sweating. Let me just confess that terribly. I have a big studio light on me over here, so I'm sweating terribly. So just like, I'm gonna give you guys a recap of the past few nights. Also know that if you're watching live, your comments are too far away for me to see. So what I'm going to do is complete the recipe, and then I'll pull your comments up and be able to scan them. So you can make them, but for some reason, sometimes on Facebook, when you're looking back, it won't let you scroll up and see all of the comments. So I will ask you at the end if you had questions, just in case I can't see them show up here where I'm looking on the laptop, okay? All right, so I need to do one quick thing, and then we will get started officially. All right, well, let me tell you what the quick thing is, but so you'll see it now. But basically, I'm gonna strain our garbanzo beans. That's the main thing that's going in here. But I want to show you guys something on that. Okay. Just gave them a quick rinse. Okay. Now, the reason why I wanted you to see that part, unfortunately, I didn't have the sink to do the rinse right here. But the reason why I wanted you to see that part is because you can make your own garbanzo beans from scratch, and I do recommend that you do that when you can. However, if you want to purchase them canned, these are organic, so it's BPA free. But the biggest thing I wanted to show y'all is that you should keep this liquid, okay? You can do so much with this liquid. This liquid is basically like an egg white. Now, you won't want to scramble it like an egg white, but you can use it to batter things and as an egg replacer in that way. Okay, and I'll actually show you how you could do that with some of the ingredients I have here tonight. Now, as a recap, okay, on day one, I gave you all a foundational, very entry-level understanding of the acid-alkaline balance. And what we talked about is the fact that the word alkaline means balance. It means homeostasis. It means your body is in complete alignment, okay? And so what we want to strive for is to be roughly 90%, 80 to 90% of our diet and lifestyle should be alkaline in nature, should be balanced. Let me close this and just make sure there's no glare coming from there. Okay, so with our foods, we determined that it's okay to have a little bit of acid in there. We talked about how our system is made and the way our body is made by the Creator. Most of our organs are naturally alkaline in nature, okay? They were created that way. And then we have an acidic component in our stomach that's used to break down our foods and help them digest, help them to be absorbed, assimilated, and utilized by the body. So we need that little bit of acidic balance in our bodies in order for everything to function properly. For optimal health, it makes sense, just to me, maybe just to me, I'm not a doctor, but it makes sense just to me that if we want to be in alignment with our bodies that are alkaline, we will eat foods that are also alkaline, balanced, calming to our system. Acidic foods are burning, and they cause a rise of inflammation in our system, leading to all sorts of illnesses and diseases. Some are minor. Sometimes you just don't feel well. You're tired, low energy. Some people, it actually manifests in the form of disease, okay? But I dare anybody to try an alkaline lifestyle for 40 days and tell me they don't feel better. It's not possible, okay? So as I keep talking, I'm going to start one thing on the stove here to my left. Everything else is going to be at room temperature, but I want to show you this. We're making tonight a real basic, I consider it basic, but very simple salad that can be served room temperature, and we're going to enjoy it on top of quinoa, which is an alkaline staple ingredient. Oops, hold on right here, let me get this on. All right, now, to keep it simple for you guys, I'm using this. This is quinoa boiled in the bag. You cannot go wrong with your quinoa if you purchase this, okay? Then we're gonna get to talking about day two. It's in a bag, you guys, okay? Somebody actually gave me this. I've never purchased it before, but somebody gave me a couple of boxes of this, and I thought, okay. And I thought maybe it's got some extra ingredients in it. Maybe there's a reason why I shouldn't be using this. But no, on the label it just says white quinoa, red quinoa, black quinoa. All in this little bag. All you do, okay, is put this in water. I'm dropping it in the water. I don't know if you can see that or not, but I'm dropping it in the water. Let it roll. When it comes to a boil, you let that cook for 10 minutes and it's done. That's it. Cut the bag open, it's done. After that, you can season it or whatever you want to do as you desire, but it will be done, okay? So you can't get any easier than this, all right? Now, while that's going, I'm gonna make our salad, and hopefully the time of everything will come together perfectly. If not, I have so much more I could talk to you guys about, so it's really okay. All right, so let's see here. Now, day 2, all right? Day 2, we talked about finding a strong why, okay? What is our reason for wanting to change our health? If you don't have a strong reason, not a reason that sounds good, but a real reason, it will be very difficult, if not impossible, for you to do what you said you wanted to do, okay? Next to impossible, all right? So we have to have a strong reason why. I don't know what your reason is, but you need to know what it is. If you think you have a why and nothing is working, it's not the right one. I can promise you that. My why was not my children. It was not, oh, I have a young son. I'm 46 years old. My youngest child is 7. That's not my why. That wasn't enough to get me off the couch and pull me away from donuts. But you know what was? Just wanting to look like I did in college again. Just wanting to be fine one last time, okay? Just wanting to be with my husband who is a younger man, and not have people say, what is he doing with her, okay? That was a why for me, okay? Being tired of feeling fat and sluggish and lugging myself around, okay? Threatened by diabetes, with pre-diabetes, which is technically diabetes, just not high enough to medicate. Those were my reasons why, and that was strong enough to hold me on the days when I was tempted to do something completely different, okay? So you have to find what is going to be a strong enough reason for you to stick with it. Now, if you haven't done so yet, I want you to go right now to bit.ly. I'm going to type it in here. I can't do it in here. I'll put it in the comments. bit.ly/alkalineme. And get on my mailing list, okay? You're going to receive some recipes tomorrow if you do that. I'm going to send you a couple recipes, and then also you'll receive a download of the things that I've been discussing, okay? So make sure that you go ahead and do that. And make sure you know your why, guys, all right? The other thing we talked about was what's on your plate. What have you been eating for the last 48 hours? And what percentage of those items is alkaline, okay? We talked about alkaline foods being foods that fall into the category of fruits, veggies, nuts, and seeds. You can Google and find specific charts that will tell you the alkalinity of specific foods. They're not all the same, okay? And the other thing that's troubling is there's no definitive list, all right? So if anybody's watching me and they follow Dr. Sebi a lot, I'm going to be one of the few people to tell you that you'll find Dr. Sebi's alkaline list, and then you'll find this person's alkaline list, and then you'll find this person's alkaline list. And that was very confusing for me as a person who does not like to be a sheep, but likes to have all the information I can possibly find. And so what I came to was fruits, veggies, nuts, and seeds, for the most part, of varying degrees. Some have more alkalinity than others. But even then, it can be difficult to know exactly what's what. But I guarantee you, if you stick to fruits, nuts, veggies, and seeds, unprocessed foods, don't eat a lot of wheat, baby, the weight will melt off, and your health will improve. Everything will be better from there, okay? So I do believe still in Dr. Sebi, but I don't necessarily stick to his nutritional guide 100% anymore. You will see me sometimes use beans that he doesn't have on his guide. I don't like the word approved, in case anybody is familiar with that. It's turned off a great many people. I feel like you're grown. You can approve yourself to eat whatever you want, but you may choose to eat different things. And so I may use, on occasion, very rarely, black beans, I do use lentils pretty frequently. I like lentils. I use other vegetables that he does not have on his guide because we enjoy them from time to time. And so what I'm preparing tonight, though, is pretty much 100% in alignment with his guide. And for my Rebirth members, our recipe guides for the next few weeks will be based on Dr. Sadie's nutritional guide, because it is still a really good guide, you guys. We just don't need to be so militant about it. But it is a very good guide. It's a very good way to live, and you will feel amazing if you eat that way, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and jump right in. We're gonna start, we've got our quinoa going. It's not boiling yet. When it starts boiling, I am going to check the time and just make sure that it only cooks for 10 minutes, and I'll turn it off and bring it over here. So I'm gonna start by chopping up my onion. And listen, you're gonna see me use exact ingredients. This is one of the recipes that I'll be sending you tomorrow. You're gonna see me use exact ingredients, but I also want you to know that you can substitute and put some different stuff in yours, okay? Does not have to be the same exact thing. What I'm finding, y'all, is that people are so afraid to veer off from a recipe, and I just seek to free you from that. Now, some people aren't afraid. I can't even get them to follow a recipe. But there are others who, you know, they just are so worried. If they don't have a red onion, but they have a white onion, it's not gonna turn out right. She used a red bell pepper. All I have is this orange one or this green one. It's not gonna turn out right. None of that is true, okay? With the exception of a few things, you can still get really good flavor from your food. The most important thing is not what you put in it physically, it's what you put in it faithfully, okay? So if you're worried about your food not turning out right, just pray before you start cooking. Bow your head and pray. Heavenly Father, we commit this meal to you and we ask that it be delicious. In Jesus' name, amen. That's it. Bless my hands. My son prays that when I make something that looks a little unusual and I say your blessing, he just looks at it and says, dear Jesus, please make this taste delicious. Why can't you do the same thing? Why can't we follow the example of the children, okay? So here's what we're doing. We're taking our red onion. Now, you can use white onions. If I'm going to have it in a raw application like this, I like the red onion better. Personal preference, okay? This is my thing. This is what I like. I like the red onion better cooked. I just prefer the red onion. To me, it's milder. It has a much better flavor. Okay, making sure you can see me. There's no particular way that this needs to be chopped. You could leave it in bigger pieces. I like almost everything, on a small dice. Okay, that's just my preference. I don't mind taking the time to do a little chopping. You can do this even if you don't love to cook. Turn some music on in the background, okay? Turn your show on. If you don't have an open floor plan kitchen like me, I don't care. Prop up a computer, prop up your phone, and turn something on while you're in here. It makes it easier. But the one thing I want you to stop doing is complaining. Complaining. That complaining negative spirit will take the taste of your food down. No, it's not going to taste good because you complained the whole time you were making it. All you talked about was how you're not really a cook and you can't do it, and all that kind of stuff feeds into your spirit. All right, so I don't want to hear that. I want you to stay positive the whole time. I can't tell you, I love to watch cooking shows and I love to watch Cake Wars. I don't even eat that much cake anymore, but for whatever reason, I'm addicted to it. The whole time these people are competing, they just keep saying, oh, look at the time, we're not gonna make it. Oh, we're not gonna make it. No, you're not, because you keep saying that you're not. Why do we do that? Let's not do that. Okay, so next we have our onion in there. Let's go ahead and drop our chickpeas in there. No particular order here to any of this. Now I'm going to use in here yellow bell pepper, tomato, cucumber, and zucchini, and then some parsley. And that's really it. And then I'm going to show you a little sauce that I'm going to make to pour over it. Now, I would recommend that it depends on how soon you're going to eat this, okay? If you're going to have this for tomorrow, and this is like meal prep for your lunch, go ahead and put your zucchini, your herbs, which could be any herbs. I recommend parsley at every single chance you get, every meal, every whatever. But make sure that you do your Yeah, bell pepper and zucchini can sit overnight. Cucumber and tomato, not so much. They just get mushy and don't taste good. So I'm gonna add those, but I'll put those on top, okay, so that it's better. It tastes, it holds better. And then I can just add those fresh every time I eat it, all right? That's just me. You want it to taste good. It's not gonna look, if it doesn't look good the next day, you're not gonna want it. And then when your coworkers say, hey girl, you wanna run out to lunch with us? We're going to Papacitos or whatever it is. You're gonna look at what you have and say, I'm coming with y'all. We don't want that, all right? So I'm also adding avocado, but that also will go at the end. So we're gonna start by putting our zucchini in here next. The zucchini, especially raw, can have a little bit of bitterness to it, so I'm gonna dice it up even smaller. I personally don't love zucchini enough to bite into big pieces of it. Even if I saute it on the stove, which frankly you could also saute everything here. You could saute it, you could add some mushrooms in with that. All right, that's a modification I'll talk to you about at the end. But for me, I like it to be very small because I just enjoy the flavor better that way. All right, so we're just getting this into a small dice. Using my tiny little cutting board here, and we're just gonna drop that in there. And the other benefit of this meal, you guys, is that your body really loves raw food. Now, of course, the chickpeas aren't raw, but the other items we're putting in here are. Your body digests it much faster. There are some who teach that, you know, the enzymes, it's more alive and living, so you're giving your body truly electric food. Okay, so that's another benefit of this. Bada boom. Now, in terms of your family members, while I'm talking, my family would be more likely to eat this if it was sauteed, okay? Now, if I put a really good sauce on it, I could get them to eat it just like this, but for the most part, they would prefer this to be sauteed. Okay, there we go. And now just like that, we're done with 3 of our ingredients. The other thing to keep in mind if you're gonna do substitutions is thinking about the rainbow, okay? Think about the colors that are in here. So then that's where you might wanna add, for example, a red bell pepper. I didn't choose a red bell pepper this time because I'm putting the tomato in there and I thought, well, I have my red item, but I could have, okay? Okay, let's just do half of the red bell pepper. And I'm just taking out this ribbed part here. Okay, quinoa is boiling. We do a time check. All right. So we know when to take that out. For those of you who didn't see that, I'll show you the quinoa in a minute, how I put it together. All right, so then I'm just chopping this up. Let me put that back for now. Now, you see how tiny this cutting board is? You can get this from anywhere. I would recommend a bigger one. I do have a bigger one, but it's in storage because I'm moving soon. But I'm taking this tiny one with me. So it's so important, guys, to have a good cutting board. You don't know how many times I have visited somebody and they had some of a strange glass cutting board, which I think is really decorative. You know, that's why you hate being in the kitchen, because you don't have the right tools. My knife is nice and sharp, so I can do like this and cut right down through it, and I'm done. Okay? Some of this, if you don't care about the shape, all of this can be done in the food processor. Well, the onion and peppers, not your zucchini. Okay, so there's that. And now I'm gonna just add my herbs, make my sauce, and then I'll do the cucumber and tomato last. And hopefully, by the time I'm done with this and explaining variations to you guys, my quinoa will be done, okay? All right, so this is parsley. You could do parsley, cilantro. You could do a little bit of basil in here. All of that would be super, super tasty. This is easily a 30-minute meal, guys, okay? And if you get your flavors just right and you like it, you can eat this for 2 or 3 days, all right? If you're a person who doesn't like leftovers, like my girl Tisa, you can cook it the next day. As a matter of fact, to be honest with you, all of this could be pureed into a veggie burger. All right? Seriously. So boom, lots of parsley in there. Parsley is naturally detoxifying. Parsley helps with your breath. Parsley helps cleanse your liver. So good for you. Okay? Get some of this. Parasites hate parsley. If you're doing a parasite cleanse, you should have lots of parsley in what you're doing every day. in what you're eating every day. When we did the parasite cleanse and the rebirth back in May, I gave the ladies a dressing that you could make from basil, parsley, and cilantro, processed down with a little bit of olive oil, I think, and a little bit of lime, pinch of salt, spread it on everything. They hate it, and we love to feed them things that they hate. Okay, so we have all this in here. Let's give it a stir. Okay, this is red onion, cilantro, red onion, parsley, chickpeas, and yellow bell pepper. It smells amazing. Why? Because of the onions. Okay? All right, Denise is saying she can't hear me. Hey, everybody else, let me know if you can't hear me. I tried to use my microphone, but I couldn't get it attached. I'm gonna have to get a wireless one because when I attached it and put it on, I was too far away. I couldn't move the camera where it needed to be so that you would see what I was doing. So I'm gonna have to get a wireless one for the future. But everybody else, I do hope that you can hear me. So somebody comment and let me know because Denise, you may need to turn your sound up. Okay, Ginger can hear, so yeah, turn your sound up, Denise. Okay, so this right here is pretty much done already. Our quinoa is not ready yet. We got about 6 more minutes on that. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and dice up my cucumber. Hey, a cucumber a day will keep some illness away. It'll keep dehydration. Let's just stick with that. Cucumbers are so hydrating. I used to take a whole one with me for lunch every day and eat it. Eat a whole cucumber. It's so full of water. It's so hydrating for your system. Now I'm taking this peel off because I just want to. You should buy your cucumbers organic. If you don't buy anything else organic, any thin-skinned fruits and vegetables, you should try to get those organic, okay? Because I know it's hard to buy everything organic, but the cucumbers and things that are thin-skinned, the pesticides just go right on in there, all right? And we don't want that. So as far as possible, seek these out organic. And it's sad that organic cucumbers can be hard to find. I'm in Atlanta, you know, we got a lot of options here, but they're still hard to find. Okay, I'm going to place this, well, you know what, I'm gonna place it on the side here. Okay, we're gonna put that, because remember, I don't wanna mix my cucumber and tomato in, because tomorrow it will be mushy. So for now, I'm going to put it in here, and then when I plate up my portion, I'm going to have it, just on my one little plate, and I won't store it all the way together, okay? All right, so let's add our tomato. Now, tomatoes, let's talk about tomatoes for a second. People buy tomatoes, bring them home from the store, and throw them directly in the refrigerator. I beg you, in the name of all that is holy with wonderful fruits and veggies, do not refrigerate your tomatoes. They get mushy, okay? This one was refrigerated because it was a leftover. I used half of it yesterday, and I'm using the other half today. But it's best that you just store them on the counter, all right? The texture of your tomato will be much, much better. So let's go ahead and trim up our tomato to put on there. We'll get our avocado, we'll make our sauce. By the time we finish all of that, I guarantee our quinoa will be done. Now, the other thing you can do, if you don't want too much liquid to be in there, is take the inside out of your tomato and only use the outsides. Take the seeds out, okay? For the purposes of this, though, I'm just gonna leave it fully intact. And to me, even with this being refrigerated overnight, guys, the texture is still not really where I want it to be, all right? So, ideally, I try to just use up all the tomato when I'm making something all at once and not have a leftover piece. I mean, it's calorie free, really, so why not just go ahead and consume the whole thing, okay? So we got our cucumber and tomato in there. We're gonna do a little bit of cleanup here and move this over. We just have one more thing to cut up. Hydrate while you're cooking. Get that water in. All right, so let's make our sauce. In here already is aminos. I recommend you get coconut aminos, and you can find it at Trader Joe's. very inexpensively. If not, if you don't have a Trader Joe's near you, you can find it from another health food store. But Trader Joe's does carry it right where the soy sauce and honey and stuff like that is, okay? So get some liquid aminos because they are amazingly flavorful and perfect to make a sauce for something like this. Very simple. All right, so we have the aminos, and I'm gonna add a little bit of lime to get the maximum amount of juice out of a lime or a lemon. You need to mash down and roll back and forth. Let me tell you, I got my teenager doing this now. She's learned. Mash it down. It's already smelling amazing, okay? You get more juice out of it like this. And I'm just going to squeeze this in. All right, now the aminos really takes the place of salt. So you don't need to add any salt in here. You can. All right, but you shouldn't need any salt. There we go, a little bit of that. Okay, so that was about a lime. That was about 1 lime. Remember that if you go to my sign up on my mailing list, you'll get this recipe tomorrow along with several others, and it's bit.ly/alkaline ALKALINE me. Okay, and I did put that in comments. And you'll get the handout from the past 2 days of what I've been discussing. So our quinoa is almost done. Let me see here. We got about 1 or 2 more minutes on that. So in here we have our lime and our aminos. I'm going to add just a splash of maple syrup, okay? Now, one other thing about Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide that I forgot to mention on day 1 when I first started discussing all of this is that I mentioned that I have met 2 of his wives and then also his daughters, and I'm here to tell you they don't follow his nutritional guide. I am not getting ready to speak on any family drama. I'm sticking to the food. And I'm saying that to you because I asked his wife, the wife that had been with him for 30 years, the one who developed a lot of the herbs and the healing and that sort of thing, and the women also did a lot of the cooking and that sort of thing, and she told me she does not use agave. She said maple syrup comes from a tree. And so ever since then, I started reincorporating maple syrup. I still do use agave at times. It all depends on what I'm making, but I also prefer maple syrup as well. To me, it's pure. Some of the agave that's out is so adulterated and just pure blood sugar. They say that it will lower your blood sugar, but for some people, it actually spikes it. So I'm just gonna put a dash in here because I don't want it to be sweet. I just wanna balance out the lime and the coconut aminos. All right, so let me see if my quinoa here, yeah, it's done. Hold on, let's turn that off. Okay, for those of you who missed, I'm gonna finish this in a second, but for those of you who missed what I shared, this is the quinoa that I used. Someone gave me several boxes of this. It's boil in the bag. It's pure quinoa, there's nothing added to it, and you literally just put it in a pot of water. And when it comes to a boil, you let it cook for 10 minutes and it's done. Okay, oops, goodness, this is done. Okay, but for whatever reason, the bag itself is not hot. Okay, so there we go. And I'm just gonna set that over here, let it cool a little bit, move this back. All right, and you didn't have to measure anything. You didn't have to do anything. And it comes out nice and light and fluffy, okay? All right, so our sauce here is pretty much done. Just gonna do a little taster just to see if it needs anything else. Okay, it's very good. It has, aminos taste like soy sauce. So if you think of soy sauce, that's the same flavor that you get from the coconut aminos. Coconut aminos themselves are a little sweeter. Another liquid aminos that a lot of people use is called Bragg's. Bragg's does have soy in it though, so if you're avoiding soy, you're opposed to soy, or if you want to be more in line with Dr. Sebi's nutritional guide, you'll use the coconut aminos, although I will tell you, those who are very strict on that lifestyle don't even use coconut aminos because it is still technically, not technically, it is still a processed product, okay? But, you know, we need a little bit of that sometimes. So I'm just sharing that with you for those of you who do want to be stricter. All right, so for this right here, I'm going to add just a smidget more of my maple syrup. Just a drop more. Okay? So for you guys, I'm probably going to tell you of about 1/4 cup of the liquid aminos, and then maybe a 1/2 tablespoon of the maple syrup, then to taste. It's salty, all right? It doesn't need any salt. You may choose to add it if you desire, though. So now, all I have to do is just pour this in there. And everything is flavored. All right, and the dish is done. Now I'm mixing it, but I'm not incorporating in the cucumbers and tomatoes right there. Okay, because again, those will turn mushy. All right, and this dish is done. So I'm gonna start to plate it up in this bowl. And while I'm doing that, I just wanna give you guys the variation that I promised. You could saute your onions. You could add in some mushrooms. You could add in the chickpeas. You could saute all of that down with a little zucchini and enjoy it all warm over your quinoa, okay? Your other option is you could make it into a wrap. So I wanted to make sure I showed you guys these. These are spelt wraps. The brand is Rudy's, okay? These are sold at Whole Foods. There are other health food stores that do carry them now. They're absolutely delicious. These are spelt, which is the preferable grain. We do not want to consume conventional wheat. As far as possible, you want to avoid it because it is acidic on your system. It will cause bloating. It will mess with your IBS if you have bowel issues and that sort of thing. I know it's hard to avoid all the time, but anytime you can take your risk down, you should. So you have a couple of options. There's also a bread sold at Whole Foods called, it's Berlin Bakery, spelt sourdough. It's actually 100% in line with Dr. Sabi's nutritional guide because it just has flour, salt, and water. It's just literally 3 ingredients. It's very good too, but it's not gonna taste like traditional bread. It's better for toast, okay? If you make a sandwich with it, it's just a little heavier, it's denser, and so it's not like soft, light, fluffy bread. This has a little bit of baking powder in it, all right? So there's no yeast in here, which is great, but it does have a little bit of baking powder, and so people who don't want to use rising agents wouldn't want to do this. You can actually make your own, which I'm not doing that demonstration tonight, but, and I know it sounds hard, guys, making a wrap or any kind of bread, but I promise you that one is not hard. Just like this, to me, was even a non-cook could do something like this, okay? So let's go ahead and get this plated up, and we will be done. Okay? All right, so we're gonna put our quinoa on the bottom, and then we're just gonna dump that on top, y'all. I promise you, nothing fancy. Hold on a second, let me get, bear with me 1 second, I'm gonna get a better plate. Forget it. Let's just stick with this one. I have literally 2 plates here because, again, we're moving and everything is in storage. So the spelt wrap is Rudy's, okay, R-U-D-I. There's only one brand that makes them, so that's where you would search. So, all right, so I'm just going to put little quinoa in the bottom here. Ooh, it's hot. Okay. All right, now you could choose to season up this quinoa. We never want to put, bland things with things that are seasoned. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt there. You could also add a little bit of aminos to this. You could also stir fry this, even though it's cooked already. You'll get great flavor if you stir fry the quinoa in a little bit of, let's say, toasted sesame oil. Trader Joe's sells that too. And then you add your veggies on top, okay? So that's it, that goes there. And then we're just gonna add some of this. Okay, and if you don't like chickpeas, chickpeas are it's the only legume on his guide. But if you don't like chickpeas, you could also put lentils in here, cook your lentils, strain them. You would want to use the brown lentils. Some of the other lentils turn to complete mush, and so this wouldn't work with them well. But take some lentils and cook those, strain them, and substitute. You could use black beans instead of the chickpeas if that's what you wanted to do, okay? So there's that. And now we're just gonna add a little bit of our cucumber and tomato. Another advantage of doing it this way, guys, is that if your family is brave and they are gonna try some, but everybody doesn't like the same ingredients, you could prepare these things separately. So you could do it, set it up like a little bar and have your quinoa as a base and then have all of your toppings available separately for everybody to kind of build their own inside out burrito bowl, okay? That would be another great thing to do. So I'm adding my cucumbers here and then I'm putting my tomatoes on top of that. And then I have an avocado. Here's another little tip for y'all. I keep my avocado, this is half an avocado from yesterday. I put the two halves back together. This is gonna save somebody. This is gonna save somebody. And that's how you keep it from turning its brown. So my avocado, I don't know if you can still really see it, but anyway, it pretty much looks like it did when I put it in the refrigerator yesterday. Okay, but for backup, I have a second avocado right here because sometimes you open them up and it's like, what? It just looks terrible. So I try to keep more than one on hand if I'm making something where I'm really gonna need that creamy texture. Okay, so I'm just adding, I can't get this, seed does not want to come out of here today. I'll try it again. But typically, yes, there you go. You jam your knife down in there and twist it, okay, and then your seed will come out. All right, and from there, I turn my knife backwards and I just go in like this just to get one or two pieces out. Oops. To spread on the top. Avocado just gives a nice creaminess to it. Okay, and this right here, y'all, is all the way done. All the way done. All right, now, just as a reminder, you can substitute anything that you want, but you want to think about the hearty effect, and that is the bean. If you're going to use a chickpea or something like that, you could just do avocado, tomato, fresh herbs, cucumber. That's all the rage right now. But this is what I'm going with today. Your quinoa is a complete protein. It has all the essential amino acids that your body needs. So for those who are still concerned with protein, although Coach K says you need to be more concerned with fiber, all right, and keeping your bowels moving, for those who are still concerned with protein, it is great to include quinoa and hemp seeds in your diet every single day. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of hemp seeds on here. All right, and these hemp seeds are from Aldi, okay? Aldi sells hemp seeds. Put them in your smoothies every single day. 3 tablespoons of hemp seeds is the equivalent of a standard piece of steak. All right, 11 grams, I think, of protein. So there you have it. All right, I'm gonna take a prettier picture for you guys to include in with the recipes that I send you tomorrow. But for now, I'm gonna go in and enjoy. Let's see what we're working with here. Let's mix it up. Let's mix it up. Okay. So listen, the quinoa is warm, so it doesn't really matter that the rest of this is room temperature because I'm getting the warmth from the quinoa itself. You could add even a little, if I was to do anything differently, I might add a little bit of cayenne or some other kind of pepper for a little bit of heat, but it's really tasty just like this. And I promise you, you will lose major weight eating this and you will not be hungry at all. The number one reason why you are not hungry on the alkaline lifestyle is because your cells are getting exactly what they need. And that's why when you eat poorly, especially if you eat fast food, you're hungry 2 hours later. Why? Because your cells got nothing from that food and they are still hungry. So they're sending signals saying, I am hungry here. I'm not getting what I need. So what do we tend to do? Load up with more carbs, okay? Totally unnecessary. And so this is what you need right here. Very balanced, very filling. You've got your fats from the avocado. You have your protein. You've got hydration coming from the cucumber and tomato. It's a great combination of fresh foods along with a little bit of cooked, right, to match that side. You also have your hemp seeds for additional protein and brain power. Everything in here is absolutely perfect for your system. You definitely would enjoy this meal. So I hope that you will try it. I hope that if you haven't been a fan of quinoa in the past, that you'll still find different ways to enjoy it. This would be great as well as a breakfast dish, believe it or not. I could use these leftovers in the morning and add a little coconut milk to it, put a little cinnamon on it, a little bit of maple syrup, believe it or not, some dried fruit, honey. That's goodness right there. And you could eat quinoa 3 times a day and never gain a pound. And I cannot tell you the same thing about rice. It just does not have the same nutritional profile at all. And I know many of us are addicted to it, but it does not contain the same nutritional profile that quinoa has, okay? So with that being said, I hope you guys have enjoyed this series. I hope you go to bit.ly/alkaline-me and get on my mailing list so you can get this recipe tomorrow. And I'm gonna send you a smoothie recipe, a couple other basic recipes to kind of get you started on your journey, as well as some future information I have on a 3-week alkaline meal plan. So if you would be interested in a 3-week alkaline meal plan, please do comment and let me know, or inbox me and let me know. Rebirth members, no worries, you're receiving that automatically. You'll get your guide that will already include that. That will be our focus for September, as we're also focusing on the fruit of the Spirit in preparation for our cleanse in October. We have our last cleanse of the year starting in October, and I'm very excited about it. I look forward to cleansing. I love the opportunity to just reboot mind, body, and spirit. And there's no better way to do that than with fruits, vegetables, nuts, and seeds. All right? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I've really enjoyed you all week long. I'm going to make a pretty plate to take a picture of, and I will see you guys in the group. All right? Any questions, go ahead and comment with those, and I will answer you promptly. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.